Okay, let's begin the show with a simple statement. I am broke. In a 6-week period, I replaced my AC, my furnace, my garage door opener, my dryer, and I had extensive car repair work done. Out of pocket, 10 grand.
Ooh.
10 grand.
Ouch.
All this happened right before I was supposed to go on vacation. It was going to be my first vacation in years, and I was going to Las Vegas to the Star Trek Grand Slam convention. I was going to party with Kirk and Spock.
Were you going to see your ex-girlfriend, the stripper?
It was going to be an amazing trip. Let's just leave it at that. But I had to cancel it. These days, I have a pile of debt that I'm slowly chipping away at. When I go grocery shopping, flavor's not a consideration. I try to get the most amount of food for the least amount of money. These days, I eat spaghetti. I buy spaghetti sauce and a box of pasta for $2. I get 4 meals out of that. A 50-cent meal. That's what I'm eating these days. And it tastes like a 50-cent meal. I am sick of this thrifty lifestyle. It's been going on for 4 months.
4 months? Try 10 years with no end in sight. I'm an actor. I literally live at the poverty line.
Oh, and I eat potatoes 5 times a week.
You're an immigrant from Nova Scotia then.
Bizarre bigotry aside, the life of a starving artist is not fun. Do you know what it's like to apply for food stamps? I do.
No.
Well, apparently I'm not very good at it. Well, they're not actually called food stamps anymore. It's called SNAP, State Nutrition Assistant Program. Anyway,
Okay.
tons of paperwork to fill out, tons. Went to the office. It was too crowded. Went home. I did the math, and it looked like we should have been approved. No problem. I got a letter like a month later saying we were denied.
Really?
Yeah. So I called up, and I got into a screaming match with the food stamp woman on the other line.
What
To the
happened?
point.
What was she saying?
Well, she was saying that we made too much, and I didn't understand, and I was trying to get her to explain to me,
Right.
and she wouldn't, and she was so rude until finally she just kept telling me, you just got to help yourself.
Jeez.
You got to help yourself. And she hung up on me.
That doesn't sound like a fun experience.
No.
No. I mean, when I went into this field, I knew it was going to be tough, but it wasn't until recently that I actually sat down and crunched the numbers.
Okay, you're a working theater actor. Many people would want that career. What does it pay?
Well, on a good year, I'd get cast in maybe 4 shows at an equity rate of $350 a week. And then take home taxes, whatnot. That's about $288. So I'm lucky to make $16,000 a year.
But you supplement that with other acting jobs, right? You did the Visa commercial.
Yeah, well, for every Visa commercial, there are jobs that actors take but don't like to talk about.
That sounds ominous. give me an example of a terrible job.
I was a 12-year-old boy.
On a website or in a production?
Actually on a very long-running TV show called Law & Order SVU.
Okay. Wow.
But I was the stand-in, actually, for a 12-year-old boy.
What's that experience like?
Well, basically, I have to go in. They give you a script. You feel like an actor. You go in, you do the lines, but they're setting up the lighting around you.
Okay.
While the 12-year-old boy is apparently sitting in his trailer playing his Game Boy or whatever. And I'm standing there for hours at a time.
Okay, so when it's time to film, the 12-year-old comes out. Does he thank you?
He didn't acknowledge me whatsoever.
He was too good for you.
He averted his eyes.
He was embarrassed of himself or you.
Not sure.
Not fun. Not fun. Now, Stacey, don't you play like a one-woman rape victim
Oh,
show?
and no, okay. I play the victim of dating violence.
Okay, the distinction is lost on me, but go
Well,
ahead.
then maybe you should come to one of the shows. And I
Exactly.
can explain it to you. And, I perform it for high schools and colleges and the military. I've been all over the country, all over the world, actually, with it.
So that's a good experience.
Yes, I think it's probably the work I'm most proud of, actually.
Okay, so that's a few bucks there. Now, have either of you done the fake patient thing at Harvard Med where you go in and say, oh, I have a rash, I have a headache, guess what I have?
No, but I've been cast in a mock trial at a law school.
Mm.
I am the lonely, distraught widow suing everyone after my husband died.
Really? Now, does the defense come forward and say it was a loveless marriage? Your husband was sleeping with an Applebee's waitress on Thursday afternoon?
No, that didn't come up.
Applebee's.
We all have our fantasies. No. All right. So you guys do extra jobs like 12-year-old boys and dating violence victims. And when it's all said and done, maybe that's not going to pay all the bills. You need more money. What I do in those situations is I sell some of my possessions. I have an extensive DVD collection I've been whittling away at. I've lost all my seasons of Sopranos. And a family member of mine years ago thought for some reason I was a Vin Diesel fan. So for every Christmas and birthday, I get a Vin Diesel film.
Oh.
I have sold my complete Vin Diesel collection. The store happily took those.
Oh.
However, the store did not take my CSI Miami collection. Apparently, David Caruso is not as cool as Vin Diesel.
Wow.
I didn't know.
Well, and not only do I sell my DVDs, but I also sell my clothing.
Really?
I heard
yeah.
that you could do that.
Yeah, I take my clothes. I actually took them to this store in Hipsterville, Brooklyn, thinking I'm going to get all this money, at least like $25 or something. I took 2 bags of designer label clothing, and I had to sit there and wait 45 minutes for them to go through it. And then they only take 1 pair of shorts from TJ Maxx. What? They gave me 35 cents. So basically, I end up in the negative because I spent $2 to get there, $2 to come back. I'm out $3.65 now, and I'm completely humiliated.
Stacey, have you ever sold anything?
I have no possessions to sell.
Well, at least you have your dignity. I have a friend who goes to New Jersey to have pharmaceutical companies do drug testing on him.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, it pays well, but he keeps it kind of hush-hush because he's afraid nobody's going to want to touch him after.
That's actually a valid concern.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone else doing anything weird medically?
Oh, I had a friend who was selling her eggs.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
What does that pay?
A lot. $8,000 to $10,000.
How many can you sell?
3 or 4, I think.
Wow.
You're awfully informed here. Is this something you've considered?
No, there's an age cutoff. Yeah, and I didn't become desperate enough until I was too old.
At this point, let's acknowledge that there are people out there that don't need to sell their eggs. That don't need to sell their Vin Diesel collection. They live a life of comfort, of confidence and security. In the second half of the show, let's talk about rich people.